First, they came for Caitlin Clark in the entire rookie class of 2024, but now they are apparently preemptively blocking Flau'jae Johnson. The LSU superstar and music sensation just spoke out about the politics of the selection process, and she did not hold back one bit. If you thought the treatment of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark was bad, just wait until you see what the establishment is doing to the next biggest brand in the sport. There is a specific clip making the rounds where Flau'jae discusses the reality of the system, and when you pair that with the deleted tweets from industry insiders, it becomes very clear that there is a gatekeeping problem that threatens to destroy the league's future before it even starts. Look at this deleted reply from 2 in the morning, where a connected analyst basically admits that popularity does not equal selection in this league. That is the smoking gun. We're going to look at the timeline of disrespect, the history of LSU players being targeted by the old guard, and the real reason the WNBA is terrified of a player who makes millions before she even steps on a pro court. This is not just about a roster spot, it is about a culture war. You have to understand the magnitude of what Flau'jae Johnson represents to the basketball world right now. She is not just a hooper, she is a mogul. She is the only person in the world with a Roc Nation deal and a national championship ring. She walks into a room and the energy shifts. But recently, on her podcast, she started peeling back the layers on how the basketball powers that be view her, and it is not pretty. The narrative in the media is that you have to earn your stripes and wait your turn, but Flau'jae is looking at the landscape and asking why the goalposts keep moving for the players who actually bring the eyes to the product. She dropped a comment that sent shockwaves through the community, essentially questioning why the system is designed to humble stars rather than elevate them. It feels like we are watching a rerun of the Caitlin Clark saga, but this time the player involved has even more leverage because she does not need the WNBA paycheck. Let's go back to the spark of this latest drama. It stems from the conversation surrounding Team USA and the developmental squads. You would think that a marketing machine like USA Basketball would want Flau'jae Johnson in the red, white, and blue, regardless of age, just for the sheer visibility she brings. But she was notably absent from conversations where her peers were included. When she spoke about the politics of the game, she wasn't just complaining about not making a team, she was exposing a philosophy. She referenced how hard it is to break into that inner circle of the elites who have been running women's basketball for the last 2 decades. We are talking about the same group of selectors and coaches who decided that the most popular rookie in the history of the sport wasn't good enough for the Olympic team in Paris. Flau'jae saw that, and she took notes. Her commentary suggests she knows that the deck is stacked against players who build their brand outside of the traditional system. To really understand why this beef is so deep, you have to look at the history of where Flau'jae comes from. She is an LSU Tiger, playing under Kim Mulkey. The hatred and vitriol directed at LSU over the last 2 years has been unprecedented. Remember the national championship game against Iowa? That was the moment the culture war officially started. You had the Angel Reese ring finger moment that broke the internet. Flau'jae was right there in the trenches. She saw firsthand how the media and the traditional basketball world vilified her teammate for having swag and for playing with an edge. They called them thugs and said they had no class. That trauma bonds you. It teaches you that no matter how good you are or how much you win, there is a segment of the basketball population that will never respect you. Flau'jae is carrying that chip on her shoulder. She saw how the WNBA veterans treated Angel Reese when she got to the league. The hard fouls, the physicality, the constant chatter in the media about how she has no skill. Flau'jae is watching her big sister get hazed, and she is looking at the WNBA and asking herself if she really wants to sign up for that same treatment. This connects directly to the college rivalries that fuel these narratives. The WNBA is basically just a continuation of NCAA beefs, but with money involved. You have players from UConn and South Carolina who have been part of the establishment for years. They are the golden children of the system. Then you have the LSU contingency. They are the disruptors. They are the ones who do rap videos and have eyelash extensions and talk trash. The old guard hates it. There is a palpable tension between the style of play and the culture that Flau'jae brings versus the austere, fundamental basketball that the WNBA purists worship. When Flau'jae says the system is rigged, she is talking about a cultural bias that favors the quiet, humble player over the loud, brash superstar. It's the same reason why people were so critical of the 2024 rookie class. The vets felt like they hadn't paid their dues. But Flau'jae's argument is that her resume speaks for itself. She has performed on the biggest stages. She has the numbers. So when she gets snubbed for these select teams, it feels personal. Let's dig into the forensics of the situation. We need to look at the timeline of the Team USA selections and the U23 rosters. There are players on those lists who do not have half the impact that Flau'jae has. This is where the politics come in. The selection committees are often comprised of people who value a very specific type of player. They value versatility and defense and fitting into a system. Flau'jae is a bucket getter. She is a scorer. She is a highlight reel. In their eyes, that might be seen as selfish or not conducive to international play, but that is an outdated way of thinking. The game is global now. The game is about stars. By excluding her, they are signaling that they prefer the status quo over the evolution of the game, and Flau'jae knows it. You can see it in her body language when she talks about it. She leans back, she laughs it off, but there is a fire in her eyes. She's not sad, she is angry. She feels disrespected. And we have to talk about the Caitlin Clark precedent because it is the elephant in the room. What happened to Caitlin Clark in her first month in the WNBA was a warning shot to every college star coming up behind her. The hard fouls from Trinity Carter and the cheap shots from Angel Reese's opponents and the general hostility from the league's veterans proved that the WNBA is not a welcoming place for rookies with hype. Flau'jae watched every second of that. She saw how the referees allowed the veterans to beat up on the rookies. She saw how the league office stayed silent while the discourse turned toxic. If you are Flau'jae Johnson, why would you be in a rush to leave LSU, where you are treated like a queen, to go to a league where you are going to be targeted and hazed and paid a fraction of what you make now? Her comments about the system being rigged are a preemptive strike. She is setting the boundaries now. She is letting them know that she is not going to tolerate the disrespect that Caitlin and Angel had to deal with. There's also the financial aspect, which is the biggest leverage point Flau'jae has. She is arguably the highest-earning female college athlete in the country, thanks to her NIL deals and her music career. She has a distribution deal. She does features with Lil Wayne. She is performing at festivals. The maximum salary in the WNBA is around $240,000. Flau'jae probably makes that in a week during tour season. This drives the veterans crazy. You have players who have been grinding in the league for 10 years, playing overseas in Turkey and Russia just to make ends meet. And here comes a college junior who is already a multi-millionaire. That breeds jealousy. It breeds resentment. When Flau'jae talks about the system, she is also talking about the economic disparity. The WNBA system is designed to suppress player wages and keep control in the hands of the owners. Flau'jae doesn't need their money, so she doesn't have to play by their rules. That makes her dangerous to the establishment. They cannot control her. The shut up and dribble crowd is very active in women's basketball. They just code it differently. They say respect the game or wait your turn. But Flau'jae is not built to wait. Look at her record track. She has been in the spotlight since she was a child on a reality rap show. She has been groomed for this moment. When she sees a roster spot go to a player who averages 4 points a game just because that player fits the mold of a USA basketball player, she takes it as an insult to her work ethic. She is in the gym constantly. We see the training videos. We see the improvement in her jump shot and her defensive intensity. The idea that she is just an entertainer who plays basketball on the side is a lazy narrative that the haters use to discredit her. She is a hooper first. But the gatekeepers refuse to acknowledge that you can be both a superstar rapper and an elite basketball player. They want her to choose, and she is refusing to choose. There's a deeper layer here regarding the coaching circles. The WNBA and USA basketball are very incestuous when it comes to coaching trees. Everyone knows everyone. If you are not in the good graces of a few key power brokers, you are on the outside looking in. Flau'jae plays for Kim Mulkey, who is the ultimate outsider. Mulkey is a polarizing figure who does not play the political games with the WNBA or USA basketball. There is a theory that LSU players are taxed because of their association with Mulkey. We saw it with the way Angel Reese fell in the draft, despite being a walking double-double. when teams were afraid of the baggage. Now, Flau'jae is facing the same headwinds. The establishment looks at the LSU culture and sees it as a threat to the disciplined, orderly basketball they want to promote. They see the trash talk and the eyelashes and the swagger, and they recoil. They want players who fall in line. Flau'jae is never going to fall in line. Let's look at the fan reaction, because that is where the real battle is being fought. The fans are overwhelmingly on Flau'jae's side. If you look at the comments on the podcast clips and the tweets from the WNBA stan accounts, people are tired of the gatekeeping. They want to see the best players. They want to see the stars. The WNBA has a history of stepping on its own rakes when it comes to marketing. They had a gold mine with Caitlin Clark, and they fumbled the initial rollout by allowing the jealousy narratives to dominate. Now they have another potential gold mine in Flau'jae, and they are already alienating her. The fans see the pattern. They see a league that is more interested in protecting the egos of the veterans than growing the game. When Flau'jae says the system is rigged, the fans nod their heads because they see the evidence every night. They see the arbitrary technical fouls. They see the inconsistency in who gets promoted and who gets buried. This brings us to the ultimate warning that Flau'jae is issuing. She has options. She could stay in college for another year. She could go play in Europe and make millions. She could focus entirely on music. The WNBA needs her more than she needs the WNBA. If the league continues to disrespect her and snub her for these opportunities, she might just decide that it is not worth the headache. Imagine the blow to the league if the biggest star in college basketball decides to skip the draft or delay her entry because she doesn't want to deal with the politics. That would be a PR nightmare. It would validate everything the critics say about the WNBA being a petty league that eats its young. Flau'jae knows she has this power. Her speaking out now is a negotiation tactic. She is telling them that the price of admission for the Flau'jae Johnson business is respect. If you can't pay that price, she will take her talents elsewhere. We also have to consider the locker room dynamic she will eventually face. If she enters the league with this attitude that the system is rigged, the veterans are going to come for her even harder. We saw how they tried to break Caitlin Clark. They picked her up full court. They face-guarded her. They knocked her down every chance they got. Flau'jae is tough. She's from Savannah. She can handle herself. But does she want to deal with that every night? The welcome to the WNBA moments are becoming less about basketball and more about hazing. It is toxic. And Flau'jae is calling it out before she even gets there. She is breaking the code of silence. Usually, rookies keep their heads down and say they are just happy to be there. Flau'jae is saying she is not happy with how things are being run. That is revolutionary. It disrupts the hierarchy. The footage of her game speaks for itself. She has an elite mid-range game, she can finish at the rim, and she is a dog on defense. There is no basketball reason for her to be excluded from conversation about the future of the national team. The only reasons are political and cultural. It is about control. The people in charge want to control the narrative. They want to control who becomes the face of the league. They lost control with Caitlin Clark because her popularity was too massive to contain. They are trying to regain control with Flau'jae by humbling her early. But they are miscalculating. They are underestimating her fan base and her business acumen. They are playing checkers while she is playing chess. You have to look at the podcast landscape too. Player podcasts are where the real truth comes out. When Flau'jae goes on her show, or when she goes on other platforms, she is bypassing the traditional media filter. She doesn't need a reporter to tell her story. She tells it herself directly to her millions of followers. This terrifies the establishment because they cannot spin it. When she says it's rigged, that soundbite travels around the world in seconds. It shapes the perception of the league for millions of young fans. If those fans think the league is rigged against their favorite player, they won't tune in. The WNBA is in a fragile state of growth. They cannot afford to alienate the Gen Z audience that Flau'jae commands. So what happens next? The timeline will be crucial. We have to watch how the league responds to her comments. Will they try to extend an olive branch? Will they invite her to the next camp? Or will they double down and freeze her out? If I had to bet based on the history of this league, I would say they will double down. They are stubborn. They believe in the dues-paying model. They will likely try to make an example out of her. But Flau'jae is not the one to play with. She has the receipts, she has the platform, and most importantly, she has the talent to back it up. If they try to bury her, she will just shine brighter. The reality is that the WNBA soap opera is getting more intense by the day. The line between sports and entertainment is gone. It is all one big reality show now, and Flau'jae Johnson is the main character, whether the league wants her to be or not. The snub was just the opening scene of the next season. The beef is real, the stakes are high, and the truth is the system is rigged. It is rigged against change, it is rigged against the new wave. But the new wave is coming anyway, and there is nothing the old guard can do to stop it. Flau'jae Johnson is leading the charge, and she is doing it with a microphone in one hand and a basketball in the other.